like atmosphere. Like you're inside a gym, and every single game our stands are packed, and it's always just like so loud. So you always feel like it's so awesome to play.
Welcome to another episode of CAPERS Spotlight, Conversations with your CBU student athletes. I'm Corey LeBlanc, along with today Hannah Smith, fresh off exams, 5 in 5 days, Hannah, so you must be resting up a little bit after that schedule.
Yeah, I know, it feels really good to be home, that's for sure.
Of course, a member, as fans know, of the women's basketball program. So I want to go back, as we talked before we started, right to the start of things for you as far as basketball went. When did it start for you and become your sport of choice, I guess?
I started basketball when I was like 4. My mom played basketball when she was younger, and she put us in, me and my brother, in all the sports when we were younger, and basketball was one of them. And then as I got older and stuck with it, I played basketball and soccer. And then around age 10, I decided to stick with basketball.
And what was it about basketball that appealed to you or that grabbed you?
I just loved the atmosphere always. And I was really lucky and fortunate enough that I had a group of girls that we stuck together and played together for the whole probably 10 years together through our little club, Bedford Eagles. So that was really awesome too.
Of course, the teamwork and playing together as a team and the friendships and camaraderie seem to always come up with the student athletes I spoke to, but it seems to be really common with the basketball players. Why do you think that's the case, or have you ever thought about why that's the case?
Like the atmosphere, you mean?
Yeah, and the team and the each player kind of, as mentioned, the connectedness and the friendships and the team involved.
I'm not sure. I think all of our sports teams here at CBU are awesome in that way, but just with basketball, I find it's just such a small atmosphere. You're inside a gym, and every single game our stands are packed, and it's always just so loud. Just it's so awesome to play, and it always brings you up.
So you're, as you said, a Bedford Eagle, and you're playing minor ball, 10-year-old Hannah Smith, and you're again progressing. When did you start thinking, and maybe it wasn't a conscious thing, that, hey, I'm pretty good at this. This is something I could maybe go places with, so to speak?
As I got a bit older, I started trying out for the provincial teams for Nova Scotia, and I kept making them, and I started getting more serious. So I played with the provincial team for Nova Scotia for 5 years. The last year was the COVID year, so unfortunately we couldn't go away. But through that way, I was able to explore and see a lot of different universities, and realize where you could really go with it and how serious it can be.
How helpful was the provincial experience for you in developing your game?
It was awesome. I was fortunate enough to play higher up than my age, and that allowed me to see a lot more skill, especially when you go away and play Ontario, out west teams who are a lot bigger and older than you. It was definitely great for me to see the skill set and build when I was younger.
And high school ball at CP Allen?
Yes.
So you're there, you're a cheetah, you're doing your playing time there, and you start to, of course, think of maybe the next step in university. So take me to there and that process, how that unfolded a little bit, and how you arrived at your decision to attend CBU.
So since being local, I had a lot of different opportunities to go look around and see different schools. And then when push came to shove at the very end for grade 12, Fave reached out to me, and I went on a visit with him up there in Cape Breton. And just like the school itself is amazing, and then just the way we live as a team. We live in like apartment style residences with the girls like on the team, and that was a big thing for me just because I'm pretty a homebody. So being surrounded by the team the whole time was a great atmosphere for me to be in. And the school is a bit smaller classes, so the teacher knows you and you can get to know them very well, especially with your schedule. You're away a lot, so it wasn't very much of a hard choice.
Well, that's good, and obviously you're happy with the choice you made by the way you speak of it.
Yeah.
So we'll take things in segments here a little bit. We'll talk about the basketball side of things here at CBU. Before we do that, a little bit about, I know it's hard sometimes for athletes to speak about their own game, but what do you feel are the strengths of your game and what you bring to the court?
I think what I bring to the court and for my team is just always like a positive outlook on the situation, and always giving it my all in every situation. This year, my role was more to be the shooter on the team, and in situations where we might need a shot, like that's where they would look. But in the grand scheme of things, like I think I just fit right into the team well. We all just gel together. Like,
right.
Obviously everyone had their moments, some games, and they did really well, but just the way we flowed together was what really made our team have our great moments this year.
One of your many tools as part of your skill set is your outside shooting. Was that always something that was a strong part of your game?
Yes and no. When I was younger, not so much, but then I worked on it a lot as I got older. And then once I hit high school, that was kind of my stronger suit for sure.
And I know for outside shooting, like any aspect of the game, but certainly a lot of work involved there. So a lot of time in the gym and a lot of just repetition, eh?
Yeah, I try to find as much time as I possibly can with my schedule for sure.
So speaking of schedule and not a lot of free times, of course, you're not just an athlete, you're a student athlete. So talk a little bit about the experience on the academic side at CBU and talk about what you're studying and plans down the line with what you're doing academically.
Sure. So when I first started at CBU, I was in chemistry for my first 2 years. And then just this year, recently, I switched over to nursing.
Okay.
So I just finished my first year of nursing, and I have one more left. I love it. I'm so happy I did it. I love it so much. However, it was definitely a different type of schedule. I was used to pretty compact schedules being in sciences before, but balancing clinical work placements.
Right.
And then practicing and then getting my own workouts in along with like getting a good routine with sleep and eating and stuff. That was definitely a challenge, but towards the end I really kind of got a hold of it, so it wasn't as difficult, but definitely when it first started it was kind of a shock.
I bet. So what was the key to tackling all that, for maybe for some advice for others trying to, what a intense academic and athletic schedule, what do you think was the key to kind of getting everything situated and level?
I think, well, for me personally, it was meeting with my coaches. I was definitely overwhelmed and stressed out just because I wanted to perform really well academically, but also on the court as well. And I started getting really stressed with that. So I met with my coaches and I just explained what's going on, and they were super helpful with like trying to help me like navigate, like for my brain to be able to relax and like figure out, okay, you have time for this, you can do this, and just like really break it down for me. And that was really helpful for me. And especially then them knowing how I'm doing in my schedule too. It really helped like build a relationship of like where we're both at every day.
So you mentioned the transition to the nursing field. What was the appeal of that, and what drew you to that profession?
I knew I always wanted to work in the healthcare, so that's why I started in the sciences. I never gave much thought to it when I was younger. And then as I was in my first couple years with sciences, a lot of my friends who were older and my age went into the nursing
Right.
field, and they're telling me their stories and like how they're doing and what they're gonna do with it. And it just really made me kind of be like, huh, like that's what I was going to do. I really didn't realize that the nursing profession could be that big. So I met with a couple of people that I know who are a lot older as well, like my family, friends and stuff, who've been nurses for a long time, and they kind of helped me navigate. And I was like, okay, like I think I'm gonna try it. And then I was able to get into it, and I'm so happy I did it. I love it a lot.
That's wonderful. It's always great when you find that thing that and it clicks.
Yeah, exactly.
With you, that's you've chosen the correct path, or the path that's really going to be fulfilling for you. With all that said, academics, athletics, I know very much a part of the CBU experience for student athletes is involvement in the community and on campus, and talk a little bit about your experiences in those areas.
Like as in with like everybody who's involved?
In the community, whether you guys I know do camps and are out there yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, so well known and
Yes.
popular in the community. So how, I know you as student athletes enjoy that element of it at CBU as well.
It's so amazing, especially because Cape Breton's a bit smaller too. We get such great turnouts with the camps, and the kids are so excited. And it's just so nice to be able to take a break from like school and your own basketball, especially for like, well, I guess for all kids who were in now university playing, like that was you once as well. Like I attended all the camps when I was home, like when I was younger, and like I looked up to all the players. And now being in the position where we can host our own and seeing them be so excited to be there just makes you feel so like great.
And for sure, you mentioned the crowds at the games, and just with the smallness, again, you become known, and the popularity. So it must be those moments that maybe you need that little extra push in the game. You
For
have
sure.
so many people behind you.
Yes, and especially because a lot of the young kids too who come to these camps come to our games as well. Right. And then they have their little like signed papers for us to sign at the end of the game. It's so great.
So your academic path continues with your nursing studies, so you'll be finishing up those, and what are some of your goals as you wind down the basketball side of things with CBU as well?
I'm not quite sure yet. I still have a bit longer. I'm actually going back up there this summer. I'm only home for a couple, like a week, because the nursing semester starts for the summer. I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet. I think once basketball winds down, I might come home for a bit and work here, just because I've been away from home for a couple years.
Sure.
And just see where that takes me once I get home for a bit.
I've gotten everyone, instead of putting on your soon-to-be nursing cap, I'm going to make you a CBU recruiter for a couple of minutes here, and not just for student athletes. Of course, you have that perspective, but in general, what is it about, if you were speaking to someone thinking about CBU, what makes it so special? What makes it a place that a person can really do some great things and grow and get their education and all those things that are part of a university life?
I think on the education side of things, it's just so important, well, for me and for anybody, to make connections with your teachers and be able to have someone there in your back corner in case you really do need help. And with the small course, the class loads, you really make connections with your teachers. And I find that is super helpful because I know with a lot of the bigger schools, you can't really connect that well. And there's support systems everywhere. If it's with writing or with math or with sciences, there's centers for everything, which I was really shocked about and I utilize almost every day. And then with the way we live in Cape Breton, there's a combination for anyone how you want to live. So if you're more social and you want to meet more people, like you can live in the apartment styles like how we live, or if you're more kept to yourself, there's like your single rooms. And again, just like the atmosphere, since the campus is a lot smaller and compact, like you see everyone constantly, you can walk everywhere, so you don't need a car. It's really wicked that way. And then again, right, so since we only have a couple teams with the basketball team, the soccer team, the track team, the events we have are really huge, which is awesome and great to bring people outside of their rooms as well.
So it sounds like as we spoke about before, you're pretty pleased with your choice that you made coming you went from a cheetah to a caper.
Yeah.
And even when you go back to your home area, you'll still have a little bit of, you'll always have some caper blood in you.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Well, that's great, Hannah. Was there anything else you wanted to mention that we've missed chatting about your CBU experience?
No, I think that we've covered everything.
Good. Well, good luck on your mini break. I know you'll be right back.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it.
And thanks so much for doing this. I'm glad we were able to chat.
Yeah, I appreciate it so much.
Again, everyone, that was Hannah Smith of the CAPERS women's basketball team and aspiring nurse, so getting into the healthcare field, and certainly something we love to hear in this province. So again, thanks to Hannah, and thank you for watching another edition of CAPERS Spotlight, conversations with your CBU student athletes. I'm Corey LeBlanc. Have a great day.